The Bulls are too funny, man. After an absolutely embarrassing loss against the Boston Celtics, 5 straight losses, they come back home, have to face the Milwaukee Bucks, one of the better teams in the NBA. Zach and DeMar are scratched from the lineup, and somehow the Bulls have a miraculous win in overtime, a heroic game-tying 3 from Alex Caruso to send it in overtime. Listen, this was by far and away the most exciting Bulls game I've watched this season. Yeah, the blowout win against the Utah Jazz, that was nice. The back and forth battle against the Raptors in which AC hit that game winner with a few seconds left, that was nice. But in this game, there was life in this team. Energy, hustle, effort, something I've been begging to see all season long. You guys already know this. I feel like I don't even have to say it at this point. I don't care if you lose. Just go out there and give me effort. Play like you care. Play hard. That's all we can ask for as fans. Even if the Bulls had lost this game, which for the record, with a few minutes left in the fourth, I didn't think the Bulls were actually going to be able to close it out. And it almost looked like they weren't going to be able to with the way that they dropped that big lead and enabled the Bucks to take a 3-point lead with seconds left. But even if they had lost, I would have respected the effort. I would have been encouraged and happy with what I saw, because it's not like this is just any team. This is the Bucks we're talking about here, and a healthy Bucks team where their guys played and the Bulls' 2 best players didn't. But the Bulls, despite it looking like they were going to fall in the final minute of the game, you saw that incredible game-tying 3 from Alex Caruso. The quest for best 3-and-D player in the league continues for this guy, and the Bulls somehow closed out the game against one of the best teams in the clutch in the Milwaukee Bucks and outscore them 14-7. This was the best win of the season. I know it isn't saying much considering the Bulls have only won 6 games all year, but you come into the game, 5-game losing streak, everyone is hanging their heads low. The team is checked out. They look like they're tired of playing together. DeMar and Zach are out of the lineup, and they come out and give us the best effort we've seen all season. I tweeted this, and it was more or less a joke because obviously it's easy to say seeing a game like we just did, and we need to see it on a much larger sample size, but the Bulls literally formed an identity in one game without DeMar DeRozan and Zach Lavine. And look, this isn't to throw shade at DeMar and Zach because they're still both incredible players, incredible scorers, but there is something to be said in how this team found a new sense of life in them with both of those guys being out. The Bulls had to get scrappy tonight. They did just that, fighting for loose balls, diving on the ground, pestering the Bucks on defense, moving the ball around on offense, pushing the pace. It was the best pace we've seen from this team all season. Getting up and down the court, even when they weren't executing, because the Bulls really didn't shoot the ball that well, but even when they missed those shots, they were good possessions on offense. Good looks, good rotations, and passing along the perimeter. That's what encouraged me more than anything. Because even though the game was a bit sloppy at times, they were making the right plays. The extra passes, the shot selection was great. Cutting to the basket, the active hands on defense, it was all there. Now, DeMar and Zach were watching on the bench tonight. And I'm sure Zach doesn't really care because he wants out anyway. But you'd have to think that the guys were trying to send a message to them like, hey, you see the way that we're playing? This works. The way you guys want to play doesn't. When you come back into the lineup, you need to match this level of energy, the level of speed, playing fast, because we just beat one of the best teams in the NBA, and we did it off hustle. We did it without you guys. Now, do I think the Bulls could sustain this kind of success over time? No. I mean, tweaks to the roster are still going to need to be made, but instilling a newfound sense of urgency and the guys realizing if they play the right way, good things can happen and will give them the confidence needed to keep building on this. I mean, hell, even Patrick Williams was getting into it. He was showing some emotion for the first time ever. Missed a couple of dunks, got rejected by Giannis on a critical possession, but he was as aggressive as we've ever seen him and as candid as we've seen him. The guys were high-fiving each other. The bench was clearing out to pick guys up when they were diving on the floor. They were all about this. It's funny because if you caught my video from this morning, we were talking about how, AK's comments, or I shouldn't say comments, reports that he wants to see what this team looks like post a Zach Lavine trade before they start looking at the other players. And of course, everyone has been roasting him since that reporting. But honestly, after seeing the way this team showed up tonight, I mean, maybe he has a point here. One of my oddball, let's give him a benefit of the doubt theories in that video is if the guys are telling him and the coaching staff privately that Zach is the problem and that they would do better without Zach Lavine, or that Zach has become a different player or a different person since signing that max contract, then maybe you try and see if you take away the problem, how that impacts the team. It's short-sighted because, again, this is just one game, but after one game, no Zach and no DeMar, and you see this, it's a bit telling. Vucevic tonight, this was the most engaged I've seen Vuce all season. Obviously, he was going to be the primary focal point on offense with no DeMar and Zach being out. The Bulls ultimately ended up playing more through him, and what happened? You saw a new Vucevic. You saw the all-star days of Vucevic, in which he was more versatile on offense, was handling the ball better, was making the right passes to facilitate on offense. 29 points, 11 for 21 shooting, 2 for 4 from 3, 10 rebounds, and 6 assists. Best stat line we've seen from Vuce all season. Coby White missed a lot of shots. He was 7 for 20, 4 for 11 from 3, but man was hustling, doing everything he could to get this win, fighting on defense, was excellent in driving to the paint and ducking it in low to Vucevic or Drummond, was getting to the line, 23 points, 7 assists, 4 rebounds. Coby played 45 minutes tonight. Billy trusted Coby in the game to make the right plays. And he did, especially down the stretch. Patrick Williams struggled to find a shot, especially in the first half, but obviously had some big plays in the final minutes. And then, of course, those 2 throwdown dunks in overtime. Ayo was great in his first start, doing what he does best in terms of getting a steal on defense and getting quickly downhill in a hurry and finishing at the rim. Ayo had 14 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists, 4 steals. Dude was all over the place tonight and was great in closing this one out for the Bulls. Caruso, you mentioned it before, he's still feeling it from deep, and of course another big 3 that saved the Bulls in this game. Had 7 turnovers though, would like to see that go down. In fact, the Bulls actually turned the ball over a lot in this game, 21 times, but honestly, I'll take that if it means the guys are figuring out how to play quicker, play with pace and purpose, ball movement, player movement. Yeah, you're not going to see as many turnovers when the offense is focused on heavy isolation plays, but that also isn't the best way to generate offense. And then off the bench, Torrey Craig, Jevon Carter, Andre Drummond, all great tonight. Did their jobs in providing both scoring and defense in the second unit. Jevon Carter was a plus 22 in this game. He really wanted to get the win against his former team and was so scrappy on defense. 3 steals for him, 11 points, 5 for 10 from the floor. Andre Drummond, what a great game for him. 10 points, 14 rebounds in just 13 minutes. Was even solid at the free throw line, 6 for 8. I know Stacey on the broadcast has been talking about giving him more minutes, and I don't deny that that should be the case. And in games where Vuce is struggling, yeah, maybe you should. But Vuce was on tonight. And Drummond was great in stepping up and giving Vuce a breather where you felt like the Bulls could still maintain their momentum with Drummond being out there. Did the Bulls really out-rebound the Bucks tonight, 51-43? You know what I love seeing? The Bulls crashing the offensive glass, getting those second chance opportunities and second chance points. 14 offensive rebounds in total. The Bulls also have more points in the paint than the Bucks did. And they seriously won the free throw battle as well against Giannis and Dame, 2 guys who are notorious for getting to the line. Bucks only had 13 free throws in this one compared to the Bulls' 22. Also, 32 assists tonight for the Bulls. 32 assists for a team that is last in the league in assists at around 21 per game. What was this team? And here's the thing, I'll end it with this. I don't think we can underestimate just how important things like attitude, mentality, good vibes, whatever you want to call it, just how important something like that is when it comes to the overall morale and feeling in the locker room. If the team feels good about each other, they feel everyone is invested in the betterment of the team, they feel that everyone is on the same page and wanting to win, good things can happen as a result of that. It doesn't mean this team is suddenly going to turn a corner and start contending, but you'll see a fundamentally different approach in the vibes and morale of this team if they believe and trust in each other. Also, man, the Milwaukee Bucks. Bulls played well tonight, but this is a bad loss for them. And their defense continues to struggle without Jrue Holiday. Might need to do a video on the NBA channel on their struggles on that end of the floor. But either way, love this win. Don't think it really changes much for the season for the Bulls overall, but baby steps. We'll take it day by day. Let me know what you guys thought. As always, be sure to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.